Hey guys, it's Stefan, and today I'm going to be reading the 8th chapter of Eddie and the Lizard Man. Now, in the last chapter, Eddie told his friend Dog about the strange conversation that he overheard Kevin having. Now, Dog didn't think that there was anything in it. Is Eddie just being paranoid, or could he actually be onto something? Let's continue reading to find out. Chapter 8, Mann's Conspiracies. Mann's Conspiracies was a radio show hosted by Tony Mann, a legend in the world of conspiracy theories. Eddie would often use information gleaned from Tony Mann's show to help him understand the world around him, especially those things shrouded in mystery. This was important to Eddie because he felt that there were parts of his own life that were more mysterious than not. That being said, the mysteries of commonly held conspiracy theories had become somewhat of an obsession of Eddie's. So much so that the walls in Eddie's rooms were covered in newspaper clippings, maps, articles, and other researched material used to make sense of that key mysterious event in Eddie's past. But that story is for another time. This story is about Eddie and the Lizard Man, so we'll get back to that. The theme song for Tony Mann's Conspiracies concluded as Eddie sprayed easy cheese on a beef stick. To his dismay, the can sputtered out the last little bit of cheese. In a frustrated motion, Eddie tossed the empty can into the trash. However, the frustration quickly subsided as he took a satisfied bite of the delicacy he called cheese on a log, and sat back to enjoy his favorite show. As the music faded, Tony Mann's voice bombed through the radio speaker. And we're back. You're listening to Mann's Conspiracies, and today we're continuing our conversation about the reptilians among us. But before we open up the lines, here's a recap of a few important points. As Tony began to list off attributes and signs of the reptilian kind, Eddie picked up a gulp-sized slush drink and took a sip. Number 1. Reptilians tend to be people with power or influence, like world leaders, CEOs, even managers of antique stores. Eddie couldn't believe his ears. Kevin? Eddie said to himself. That's right. Your boss could be a reptilian, Tony confirmed as if speaking directly to Eddie. Eddie's eyes grew large as he began to recall various encounters with Kevin over the years. Tony continued with his list. Number 2, they may have special abilities like ESP or being psychic. Eddie's eyes grew even larger as he recollected an instance where a customer came into the store looking for a specific item. Before the customer could finish the description of the item, Kevin said, I know exactly what you're looking for. And after Kevin had taken the customer to the item, the customer gasped in surprise and said, Why, Kevin, you read my mind. This is exactly what I was looking for. Eddie's mind began reeling with the possibilities. No way, Kevin's psychic. Tony Mann clipped along. Number 3, they often have low blood pressure. The hairs on Eddie's arms stood up. Okay, now this can't be a coincidence. Memories of regularly picking up takeout for Kevin floated to the front of Eddie's mind. Several times he had forgotten to get extra salt packets for Kevin. This would result in a frustrated response along the lines of, You forgot to get extra salt again. How many times do I have to tell you I need it for medical reasons? Just then, Eddie was jolted out of his thoughts and back into the present by the slurping sound of his empty slush drink. In Eddie's mind, a revelation burst into being. He turned to address Dog. Dog, it's all making sense. Kevin's a manager, a person with influence. He can read people's minds, and he eats way too much salt for a normal person. The revelation continued to grow as Eddie's attention went from the radio to the jar full of sheddings on the shelf just above him. That's it, Eddie declared as he grabbed the jar and presented it to Dog. These aren't snake skins, they're lizard skins. It's so obvious. The antique store doesn't have a snake problem, it has a lizard problem. Don't you see? Kevin's a reptilian, a real, live lizard man, and right here in Linemell. Dog barked a skeptical bark, and Eddie reassured him with, Well, I'm like 99.9999% sure. Dog moaned. He often played the devil's advocate. That is, unless he felt that agreeing with Eddie on a topic would result in Eddie giving him food. But in this case, Dog could see no connection between food and being agreeable, so he defaulted to being the voice of the skeptic. Eddie knew that Dog was right. He needed more than a few circumstantial events in order to say with certainty that Kevin was a reptilian. He slouched back in his chair and tried to think of a way that he could prove it. Then, quite directly, he remembered Kevin's phone conversation. Eddie turned back to Dog with conviction in his eyes. When Kevin was on the phone earlier today, with that mysterious person? They made plans for something important to happen tonight at 7 p.m. Just then, Eddie looked down at his wristwatch. It read 6:14 p.m. He looked over at Dog. Kevin doesn't close shop for another 15 minutes. If I hurry, I might be able to follow him to wherever this important thing is happening, prove he is a reptilian, and figure out why he's here. Eddie grabbed his pen, his notebook of particularly interesting findings, his camera, and rushed out the door. Dog moaned again. It was the kind of moan a dog gives when he believes his friend is about to do something very foolish. Yes, it was with that kind of moan that Dog laid his head down on his paws and decided the best recourse was to take a nap. All right, so Eddie seems pretty certain that his boss, Kevin, is a lizard man. He just needs proof. Now, proof is really important because it lets us know the truth about something. And knowing the truth about something informs us on how to relate to it. In Eddie's case, he wants to find out if Kevin is in fact a lizard man. And that's important because in the curious world of Eddie Billings, lizard people are very dangerous people. And generally, if somebody's dangerous, you want to stay away from them. But what do you think? Do you think that having proof about something is important? Let me know in the comments below. And remember that you can get your own copy of Eddie and the Lizard Man by clicking the links in the description box below. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. And join me next time as I continue our reading of Eddie and the Lizard Man in Chapter 9, The Burgundy Suitcases. Stay curious.